top of the morning, planet Earth, and to all the men and ladies out there, and dogs and cats, and all the other animals that possibly could be listening in at this very moment. You're very welcome to the Celtic Coach radio show, where science, spirituality, and self-discovery meet. Think about it. If the greatest life coach on the planet, now, it could be Tony Robbins with a little bit of Michael Neal and some of the grandfather of coaching, Steve Chandler, and could have been a few other coaches. Let's say they all came together, along with some deeply spiritual person. Let's say Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer and Marianne Williamson had a baby. And that baby came together along with the Steve Chandler baby and the Tony Robbins baby. And along on that, Robin Williams, greatest man, funniest man on the planet. If they all came together and kind of melded and presented a show, this would be the show. No, really, it's that good. Okay, all right. Welcome, everyone. Self-discovery, science, and spirituality. We got amalgamation of all different things going on today in this show. Now, the process or the intention of our show every week is the same. To help you or to support you to really get the best out of yourself, and to help and support you to get the best out of your life. That's the intention of our show, and today would be no different. We're going to be talking today about slowing down to get more done. Now, that sounds a little bit like an oxymoron. It sounds like an Irishman who likes the quiet time, right? But one of the things I've found in my life that's been monumental in my life is slowing down. Now, I always thought that you had to. Hang on a second. I got to drink a little bit of my tea here. Best way to slow down. I always thought that in order to have a great life and get lots of things done, I had to speed up. And now, I'm a Scorpio, so everything is intense. And I'm Irish, which means everything is happening in the moment. And I don't want to say everything's green, but green is my favorite color, and no pun for the Irish. But I felt that in my 20s and 30s, all the way up to my 30s, probably 40s even, I had to speed up to get more done. And after a few years of life coaching, and I'm a life coach, and I'm trainer of life coaches, and one of the things that I've learned from the few life coaches that I've had over the past 10 years, but more recently, my life coach, the wonderful Steve Chandler, he really helped me to slow down in my business, like in building my coaching business. He really helped me to slow down. And so I wanted to talk about that today, because I think no matter whether you're a coach and you're learning to become a coach, or you're a coach and you're learning to build your business, or you're somebody who's wanting to build, is in the process of building a business, whatever it might be, we tend to think that we need to speed up to get more stuff done. And I'm going to offer a different perspective today. I'm going to say that we actually need to slow down in order to get more done. So we're going to be talking about slowing down to get more out of life. We're going to be talking about how to solve your problem, one way to solve all your problems, building a business a simple way, and where does your stress really come from? Because a lot of people get stressed out. And the reason is really simple. We're going to talk about it today, but it's really simple. Their thinking, their brain, their mind is going faster than the speed of life. Like their brain is going at about 100 thoughts a second, and life is just going along at about one thought a second. Right? Or if you think about it in miles per hour, life's going along at about 5 miles an hour. And your thinking is going along about 100 miles an hour. Now, most of us, including myself for a long time, thought that I had to live the life at the speed of my thinking. But you see, that's where stress comes in. That's where anxiety comes in. That's where pressure comes in. Now, pressure is great if you've got a piece of coal and you're trying to make some diamond. It's wonderful. But our bodies are not designed for pressure. Now, I used to tell people, when I was giving talks or workshops, I'd say, pressure's good. I work well on the pressure. If I've got a deadline, which is a horrible It's not very inspirational for end of a project, a deadline. They should have called it something like a happy line or a joyful line or a party line. But they called it a deadline. I'm still trying to work on that one. And I used to say I work really well under pressure. And people used to tell me, yeah, when I have a deadline, Dermot, I work really well. Well, that may be so. And for me, it was so for many years. But boy, did I lose a lot of sleep at night. Did I lose a lot of hair? Like in the 80s, I had some big Bono wavy hair. And I think I lost some of it just from pure pressure that I used to put on myself to get stuff done. So we're going to be talking about that today because it's really, it's one of the fundamental pieces for people to start to look at their lives is when you see that you're under pressure, when you see that you're having all this stressful thinking and you're feeling your thinking, so you're feeling stress. That's the body telling you, hey, you're going way too fast for my cycle, for my brain, for my life. You're going faster than this. You got to slow down, buddy. Now it took me a long, long time to really get that, and I've had a lot of physical stuff happen in my life, physical ailments, all sorts of stuff, and a lot of it was just through trying to get too much done. Right? With first of all, people think to get more done, you got to put more in the tank. It's like to get somewhere, I got to get there faster. So let me put more fuel in the tank. Let me drink a Red Bull. Let me drink a Green Bull. Let me drink a, whatever it is, a speed drink, whatever those things are, right? And I used to think that way, and I'm going to offer I'm going to offer the opposite today of what I used to do because all I have is my own experience. So I'm going to share that as much as I can with you today. All right, let's start off with just the basics. So if you just joined us, welcome. You listen to the Celtic Coach radio show where science, spirituality, self-discovery meet. We're here every Friday on KOWS.FM. F for Frank and M. Oh, where's my funny toy? Oh, my funny toy's gone. All right, no special effects today. That's a bit of a bummer. However, F for Frank and M for Matilda, which is my neighbor's sheep that passed away 6 months ago. But we still love you, Matilda. All right, let's start off with a poem. I've never read any of my poetry online. I thought I'd on the radio. I thought I'd do it today just for fun. And it's about this idea that you see, you can go through life. You can drive through a canyon, or you can drive through or go through the canyon or the scenery of your life, and you can enjoy the scenery. You can see the scenery. You can take time to appreciate the scenery. Or you can do what I used to do, which was drive fast through the laneway of my life, and I was part of the scenery. I never actually got to enjoy the scenery, which is what I was rushing through life so I could enjoy it, rushing to make money, rushing to make my business work, rushing to get things done so that I could, at some point in life, enjoy the day or enjoy the moment. But you can drive slow and enjoy the scenery, you can drive fast and you can join the scenery. And for many years in my life, I was part of the scenery. I wasn't actually enjoying it, even though I told myself I want to make money and build a business so that I can enjoy my life. But the whole time life was passing me by, I wasn't enjoying it. And that happens to a lot of clients that I coach. They come in, they have money, they have this, they have all the things they thought would have made them happy, but they're not enjoying their life. And one of the things that I work with clients on is slowing down to the speed of life, not trying to live life at the speed of their thinking. All right, so here's a little poem I wrote back in, oh my gosh, I think this was about 15 years ago I wrote this poem. And it's about slowing down and painting a picture of your life as opposed to joining the scenery. It's actually taking time to paint the picture. So paint me a picture and let me see my life painted on canvas with skies of blue and sea of green. Paint me a picture of something that I've lost, painted on canvas, and I'll try to learn, whatever the cost. Paint me a picture and show me the way. Teach me a lesson and let me see and hear and feel the beauty of the day. I know it's not easy to live with all the faults. I know it's been hard to live with the cost. But take what you need, say what you want. The love within your heart is an angelic haunt and gift. So we're going to be talking today about slowing down. Now, people say to me all the time, Dermot, I'm too busy to slow down. I sent a friend of mine, and this is no joke, I sent a friend of mine the other day, a friend of mine who's very busy, got a lot going on, and I sent him an MP3 on time management, the ultimate time management. It was a wonderful MP3 from my coach, Steve Chandler. And if you'd like me to send that to you, you can email me at the Celtic Coach. CELTIC, the Celtic Coach at gmail.com, and I'll send that to you. So feel free to email me. It was a great talk. And I sent it to my friend. We'll call them John. And after I sent it, about 5 minutes later, I got an email back from John. And he said, Dermot, I'm 2 minutes into the time management talk, and the guy speaks too slow. I don't have time to listen to it. Now, I first of all, I laughed because you've got no time to listen to a time management talk. That right there might say something that, hey, you might want to make the time to listen to it, because the very fact that you don't. But anyway, I was laughing for a while, and then I sent it back. I said, hey, it is a talk on time management. You actually have to make some time to listen to it. And he wrote back, I don't have the time, Dermot, too busy. And, as cliche and funny and odd as that sounds, I've done that many, many, many times in my life, where I have totally bypassed the joy of living for the practice of doing. Another way of thinking about it is living quantity but not the quality. And I'll tell you one of the things, when I talk to clients about this, one of the things that comes up over and over again that I notice with clients is when I talk to them about, action steps or what they want to create and how can I support them and hold them responsible to what they say they want. One of the things that I notice time and time again is this idea of when they're so busy, their values, the things that they really value, time, peace, compassion, patience, joy, fun, adventure, when those things start to go to the wayside, I know that they're too busy. Because anytime we're too busy, we start to dishonor our values. We start to get up in our head and we start to live from our beliefs, which is, I got to get more done, I got to do this, I got to do that. Oh, if I don't get this done, life's not going to be good if I don't make this amount of money. Now, all of those things are in there. I mean, yeah, pay the rent and get food on the table. I get that. I'm not talking about that aspect of it. I'm talking about everything else. So I found in my life that when I'm in a hurry, my life starts to get sloppy. I start to get sloppy. I'm answering an email, I'm texting a friend, and I've got somebody who wants to talk to me in my office, and I'm saying, hang on a minute, take a seat, I'll be with you in a few minutes. Life gets sloppy. And the things that we value start to get devalued. They start to get unappreciated. They start to get unnoticed. They start to get disrespected and dismissed. We start to miss things. And any of those things that you see going on in your life. So a question for you. Where in my life am I not honoring my value system? Now, maybe you don't know your value system. It's really easy to find that out. You just ask, if you could create a T-shirt with the meaning of life, what would you put on it? If you could wear a hat on your head that had one word that really encapsulates who you are as a human being on the planet, what would it say? If you could get a tattoo on your forehead, and for you it was the meaning of life, what would the word be? So there's many, many ways. If you were Superman for a day, what superheroes would you have? What superpowers would you have? And why would you want to have those superpowers? What could you do in the world that you may not be doing now? Right? People say, well, I like to fly, Dermot. And I would ask, well, why would you want to fly? Oh, because it would feel like freedom. So freedom would be a value. There's many different ways. So where in your life, through your rushing around trying to get everything done, and you'll never get it done, I learned that one, because there's always stuff, right? It's like the corner in my house. I have this corner at the door. And it's like the vein of my existence. And it's like, okay, I'm going to get that corner and clear it out, and it's going to be done. And then 2 weeks later, my girlfriend orders something in the box, or the whole thing is in the corner, or there's recycle stuff in the corner, or there's stuff to go to the secondhand store is in the corner. There's always something in the corner. And for quite a while, for a couple of years, I would constantly be like, hey, sweetie, let's, I got to clean out the corner. What do you want to do with this? What do you want to do with that? And it really was a lot of strain and pressure on me, and on our relationship too. And so it's not that I don't clean up the corner now. It's just that I don't have the same, this has got to get done. Let's get this done. Get this done. Get it done. So that I can feel safe, that I can feel well, that I can feel free, that I can feel relaxed. But we never get it done because every week I look at that corner, there's always something in it. So where in your life is one of your values being dishonored through your rushing around? That's the first question. You see, clients, when they come to me for coaching, they think that the best way to get things done is to do a lot of things as quickly as possible. And it's not true. Because they have stress, they have anxiety, they're missing things, they're trying to do 2 or 3 things at once. Now, for me, I used to be a huge multitasker, and I used to pride myself on multitasking. Now multitasking is doing a radio show and drinking a sip of tea. That's about as much multitasking as I can do. And even that was a lot of pressure. Just, I don't know if you felt that, but there was a lot of pressure there. Going to pick up the cup, bringing it to my mouth, and then saying a word, and then stalling for a second, and then drinking the tea and putting it down, and then start talking again. Like, that's about as big as it gets for me now. You know, multitasking in our society is so pervasive. It's so conditioned into us that we got to do 20 things at once. And multitasking in a way is the death nail to creativity. Like clients come into me and they say, "Oh, Dermot, I'm not creative." And I say, "No, it's not. It's not that you're not. You're born creative. Like, it's look at children. Perfect example. Children are creative all the time. They can take a stick or a balloon. I remember in my childhood where we would get all these presents. Well, we get a few presents, and we didn't get many presents, but we got a few presents. And we'd end up fighting over, like, the box or a balloon. You know? And children are like that. They're so creative with whatever you give them, a piece of dirt, a toothbrush, a dirty nappy, doesn't matter. They get creative with it. They'll make a Picasso from a diaper, you know. Now, at some point, that creativity it's never gone. It's just that at some point we hear along the way, or we get the idea or the concept or the belief that, oh, we're not creative, and it's just not true. It's just not true. What I say to my clients is, no, you're creative. But you got to slow down a little bit in order to connect to that creativity. You got to slow down to the speed of creativity. You got to slow down and meet your creativity where it is. And where creativity is here and now. It's not in the future. It's not in the past. It's not in the obsessive thinking about trying to solve problems. Creativity is here and now. So if you want to get more done, everyone, dear listeners, if you want to get more done, you got to slow down. If you want your income to go up in your business, whatever business it might be, you got to slow down. Because everything you want is here now. It's not in the future. It's not in the past. It's here now. But you got to be willing. And that's the word. That's really the word that my coach used with me. He said, Dermot, you know, he says, you're very talented and you're a workaholic and all of these things. But the one thing you're missing that you cannot get through thinking, or doing, is creativity in the moment. And creativity in the moment, slowing down to the speed of creativity, that's the ultimate time management. Now, let me give you an example of how this shows up in my life. Again, I'm bringing the cup of tea to my... Hang on. All right, I wasn't able to do it that time. Bring the tea and take a pause. I had to do it in the middle. See? Multitasking, the death nail to creativity. I've totally forgotten what I was saying there now. Totally interrupted myself. You see that? All right, creativity. So here's an experiment. Every morning I sit for 5 or 10 minutes. And I sit in my office, on my office chair at my tea, and I just sit and I allow myself to roam, my mind to roam through the day, to look at the day, to not obsessively think about it or go, okay, to-do list. I do have a to-do list. I put it on a big board. I do have a big to-do list. I have things that I'm going to do that day. Because I'm not saying that, just sit there and let the whole day come to you, although I know people who are very, very successful that do that. They sit and they allow the silence to inform the next action. They sit and they allow the silence to inform their day. So that's a practice too, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So my invitation for the first experiment of the first part of our talk here today is, if you slow down to the speed of life and not try to live life at the speed of your thinking, which is how stress is created, how tension is created, how pressure is created. If you'd be willing, that's the word, for 5 minutes once or twice a week, make it doable. Like, do the doable. I say that to my clients all the time. Do the doable. If you're willing to, and whatever it is for you, it may be 5 minutes a week, and that's totally fine. Whatever works for you, do the doable. And if you decide, this morning, for 5 minutes, I'm just going to sit and do the doable. I'm just going to allow my mind to wander. And as my friend Michael, he just bought a boat. He's going to sail around the world. And he sent me a picture of it. And he has a T-shirt on that says, I think it's Ralph Waldo Emerson. He says, "All who wander are not lost." And I thought, wow, that's beautiful. That really for the mind, that's great. Because we can sit. So the invitation is to sit for 5 minutes in the morning. And just allow your mind to wander. Allow your mind to play with new ideas. Take any problem that you have and don't obsess or think about it, but just allow your mind to ponder it. Allow your mind to play with new ideas for 5 minutes. Now, when I first started this, I used a timer. Because I was like, okay, 5 minutes. Well, I'm very busy today. 5 minutes is a lot. And I used a timer. So you can use a timer and just put the timer on and sit back and just allow your mind to just float over a problem. Allow your mind to float over a project. Allow your mind to float over the day. Maybe you've got something to do. And allow your mind just to wander. And see what comes to you and write it down and then put the pen back down. Don't hold the pen, but put the pen back down or the pencil and just sit back with your cup of tea and allow your mind to wander. You will get some of the most innovative, some of the most creative ideas you've ever gotten in your life if you'll do that little practice. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Like, imagine if you on your computer had 20,000 tabs open and you're giving your attention to all of them. How much quality would you actually give to each of those that content? Not very much. And I did that for a lot of years in my life. It's like, okay, I got 20 emails. Okay, let me get through them. That was my mantra, getting through. For many years, my mantra was, I'm getting through. And now my mantra is, I'm getting into. I'm not getting through, I'm getting into. I'm getting into my work. I'm getting into this project I'm doing right now. I'm in this email that I'm writing right now. I'm not emailing it, texting with one hand, emailing with the other, and doing a talk on the radio. I'm doing one thing at a time. The ultimate time management system, everyone, is doing one thing at a time. Now, that doesn't mean, well, Dermot, you want me just to do one thing for the whole day? No, that's not what he's saying. Thank you, Angus. No, what I'm saying is have your to-do list, but start to practice doing one thing. Now, another thing that I do at home, and it's very powerful, is I do one thing, and then after the one thing, I sit for a minute or two. And again, you can put on the timer, and I allow my mind to ponder the next thing that I'm doing, right? Maybe I need to make an MP3 for a show. Or maybe this morning, I spend a couple of hours on Friday mornings, and I just pick the topic, right? Slowing down to get more done, and I just allow my mind to ponder that. And stories come to me, ideas come to me, quotes come to me, mantras, affirmations, bits of content come to me. And I used to sit for 3 hours and research every show. A couple of years ago, I used to do this until I met my coach. And I started getting involved with Michael Neal's work, Steve Chandler. And I would have 4 or 5 pages of notes for the show. And I would stress because I said, well, I've got 4 or 5 pages of notes. I've got to make sure I've got to get all this content into the show. And the show would end up, it'd end up being like 5 pounds of broccoli stuffed into a 1 pound bag. Now, I don't really like broccoli, so maybe I should use something else. Oh, no, because I don't like broccoli, that's good. I can stuff 5 pounds of it into a 1 pound bag. Okay, that makes sense. All right, broccoli, you're going down, buddy. You're going down. Broccoli. You and me, afterwards, 1 pound bag, 5 pounds of broccoli. And it's kind of like that. Now, I have no idea what I was just talking about in terms of the broccoli, because I totally got sidetracked. Dermot, you got to slow down a little bit here so you don't get sidetracked. All right. Let's take it back. So, let's kind of have a little look at what we're talking about. If you want your revenue to go up, slow down. It's like painting a paintbrush. You do one brush stroke and then you wait, and then you do another brush stroke and then you wait. You can't paint a picture by doing 50 brush strokes in a second. You can only do one brush stroke and then you do another. Okay, now I'm back to what I was talking about earlier. So sit for a minute or two and allow your mind to just ponder, which is what I do with the show. But I used to sit for hours, 3 hours, researching. Now I just sit and I allow the ideas to come. Now, this sounds so simple, slowing down to the speed of creativity. It sounds like, oh, Dermot, I don't have time for that. But I guarantee if you're willing, and that's the word, if you're willing to try that out for once or twice a week for 5 minutes, it will increase your income in your business. It will increase the joy in your life. It will increase the happiness in your life. I spend my whole day now. People say to me, because I have a business building program that I'm presenting to a college, I'm a trainer online. I also have my own life coaching business. I also sing. I write songs. I'm putting a band together. And I also do the radio show. And people say, boy, Dermot, you are so... And I'm writing a book, finishing up a book. And they say, oh, you're so busy. Now, I used to be really, 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 really busy. And I did not complete as much as I'm completing now, or get done as much as I do in my life now. And let me see. I wrote this down here somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. And a little note here about that. I want to share it with you. Yeah. So busy people say, I'm so busy, I got so much to do. That's what the busy mind says. Now, that's what I used to say in my 20s and 30s. But the non-busy mind says, yeah, I've got a lot to do, but I'm not busy. Because the busyness of a project or the busyness of your day or the busyness of your life, it doesn't come from the physical aspect. And you might think, well, Dermot, that doesn't make sense because I got a lot going on. Yeah, I hear that. I know that a lot of us, that life is a full contact sport. There's a lot going on. I totally get that, and I get that more than most, I'm sure. But you see, you can have a lot doing. You can be doing a lot, but not be busy, because the busyness comes from your thinking. Your busyness comes from your mind is going faster than the speed of the project. Because if you were just doing one thing at a time, which is how I spend my day now, I do one thing and then I take a couple of minutes after I do it to just ponder and think about the next thing. And that saves me so much more time. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you the amount of time that saves me just by doing the next thing. The ultimate time management system is slowing down and doing the next thing. Now, it takes courage to slow down to the speed of life. I totally get that, because when my coach started suggesting that to me, I was like, I don't have time to slow down, Steve. I got so much going on, Steve. You don't get it. But when you just think, here's a question for you now. What's one thing that you would like to create in your life? Well, I don't have time, Dermot. I'd really love to create a radio show. I'd really like to write a book. I'd really love to go on a holiday. I'd really love to have some more fun. What's one thing that you would like? We're going to take a break here. What's one thing that you'd like to create? Think about it. Sit down and just allow your mind for 5 minutes out of the week. Sit down at the end of the week or during your lunch break, or maybe during work. But don't tell anyone. During work. And just ponder, what's one thing that I don't have in my life that I would really like to create? And then ask yourself, now sit for a minute or two and ask yourself, what's the first action step? And your mind will give you a crystal clear action step, because our systems are built for creativity. Our systems are built to give us answers. Our systems are built to solve problems. But our mind is going so fast that creativity, insight, wisdom, inner wisdom, it can't get through our thinking, because the wall of thinking is so thick that wisdom can't make its way through. But once you slow down, there's an interesting thing happens. Do you know that when you relax, the two parts of your brain, the right and the left side of your brain, they harmonize. And not only does that happen, but your heart and your head harmonize. The energies of the heart and the head converge. Amazing. Amazing. Absolutely amazing what happens. And when that happens, the right side and the left side harmonize. The right side of your brain, which is the imagination, starts to feed the left side of the brain, which is with intuition, feeds the left side, which is, analytical, logical, practical. It starts to feed it with intuition, and the two brains harmonize, and they start to give you ideas. Relaxation. When you relax, imagination brings you to a state of what they call the alpha brain waves. Very, very powerful. That's why when you're in the shower, or you go on holidays and you relax, or you're taking a walk and just relaxing, the idea comes to you. The solution to the problem comes to you. The new perspective that you were pushing to try and get comes to you. The idea that you wanted to have but you were thinking comes to you when you relax. It's because the two brains, the left and right hemisphere, they converge, they harmonize. It's very, very powerful, and that's all from slowing down. Now, you might think, oh, well, Dermot, yeah, slowing down, that's great for people who just sit around all day and do affirmations and eat Doritos and drink coffee and look at Oprah and visualize, right? And they're into the law of attraction. Now, all of that stuff works. I love all that stuff. And you can sit at home and you can trust that the law of attraction is going to work, or you can go out there and you can test it. You can take action. Take one action. So we're going to go for a break here. Your question. What's one thing that you would like to create in your life? And what's the next action step? Or another way of thinking about this, I was on a business course over the weekend, and one of the questions that I heard was, what's the thought? What is the thought that kicks you out of heaven? In other words, what's the thought that you think when you think about creating something that you want? What's that thought that kicks you out of the dream of your project? What's that one thought that kicks you out of the joy of creating? What's that one thought that stops you from moving forward? It's a thought. It's never a thing. It's always a thought. And we're going to talk more about thinking and where stress comes from after the break. All right, everyone, let's put on a little bit of a jiggly-jubbly Irish happy music here, and we'll be right back after this little break. Enjoy, everyone. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Celtic Coach radio show where science, spirituality, and self-discovery meet. We are here every week, and I do mean every week, on KOWS.FM. And if you're out there flying around on your spaceship or you're in your car, you can pick us up at 92.5 FM. F for Frank and M for Matilda. All right, welcome back. We're talking today about slowing down to get more done. Now, we talked a lot about slowing down to get more out of your life. We talked about building a business the simple way, which is just to slow down and to think about what it is you want to create. What do you want to have in your life? If to get ahead, we got to slow down. Now, we also talked a little bit about stress. Now, stress, people say that things inherently have stress in them, that life is stressful, but that's not true. I used to think life was stressful. But life is not stressful, everyone. Life is neutral. It's like people say money is stressful. Money's just a piece of paper. It's just a piece of cotton and paper. And in England and Australia and New Zealand, it's polymer. But it's just a piece of paper. It has no inherent value in it. Like you can take a $10 bill. You can look at it and go, oh, okay, this is $10. It's something, you know. And it kind of gives you an okay feeling. Then you could go out and give that $10 to a homeless person. And they were like, oh, my God, it's $10. Holy God, I can't believe it. And they're so excited. It's like, dude, it's $10. You see, the value is not in the money. It's what we think about the money. In the same way that stress is not an outside thing, it's an inside thing. We have stressful thinking. If it's true, and I believe it is, I've seen it in my own life, that we feel our thinking, right? So one of the things that you can do with thought comes in all day long, right? The principle of thought comes in all day long. Thoughts are going through our head all day long. It's like McDonald's window. People are pulling up, ordering, pulling up, ordering, pulling up, ordering. It's like the number 10 bus on Downey Street. It comes, it goes, it comes, it goes, it comes, it goes, it comes, it goes. And sometimes it comes and doesn't go because it's got a flat tire. Or the engine's broken, but you get the idea. So thoughts come and go all day long in our head. And one of the things that we can do with thoughts is we can think about them. Now think about this, ladies and gentlemen. No pun intended. Think about your thinking. When a thought comes in, oh, I'm not creative, you start thinking about it. And you say, oh, yeah, that's true, I'm not creative. And hey, look, here's all the places that I'm not creative. And wow, they're so creative. And I wish I could play the guitar. And I wish I could sing. And I wish I could build a business. I wish I was a great coach. And I wish I was... And we start thinking about the thoughts. And then we feel the thinking. Now, the whole experience of life is created that way. Through mind, thought, and consciousness. We have a thought. We start thinking about that thought that comes in our head. We feel that thinking, because we feel our thinking. Anytime you think, oh, I'm a piece of crap, I'm a terrible person, you feel that thinking. And that's what you call your experience of life. Not life itself. Life is neutral. Life does not have inherently good or bad into it. We experience our life through feeling our thinking. But most people say, oh, no, Dermot, that's wrong. No, life brings me down. People bring me down. Circumstances bring me down. But you see, we don't live in the world of circumstance. We don't live in the feeling of circumstance, although people think they do. Something happens. Oh, that person, I can't believe he cut me off. What a beep, 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 beep. All those words. But it's not the person that person is just driving and they didn't even see her or whatever, and they just turned left. It's the meaning that you made about that. It's the thinking that you had about that person, and you felt that thinking, and that's what you attributed to that person. But that's you. That's an inside job. Our experience comes from the inside out. It doesn't come from the outside in, from the outside world. We're feeling our thinking about the outside world. We're not feeling the outside world and feeling that inside. Now, that's where stress comes from. We're not stressful beings. We're spiritual beings. We're these creative, innate, incredible, wonderful, spiritual beings having this experience on this planet. So we are not stressful beings. We are not anxious beings. We have anxious thinking that makes us feel anxious. We feel our thinking, so we feel it in the body. It feels real in our bodies. Like, let me give you an example. I had a conversation with someone a couple of weeks ago. And the conversation, I thought I was being very clearly communicating with this person. But something happened in the conversation, and I made up this whole story in my head about, oh my God, that person doesn't like me, and I've just annoyed them. I've just peed them off, and they're not happy now, and they don't like me. And oh my gosh, I should have communicated that clearly. What a terrible person I am. And I went into this whole story in my head about the person, how it happened, what happened, why it happened, how it happened. And all the while I was like, oh gosh, I gotta go back to that person and clear this up, because I don't feel good in my body. And I want that person to take away this not feeling good. Have you ever had that experience where you have a miscommunication with someone and it doesn't feel good? And you go back to the person because you want to clear it up so you don't have to feel the feelings of whatever it is you're feeling. Anxious, nervous, they don't like me, oh I've made them angry, whatever it is. Have you ever done that? We've all done that. It's not a Dermot thing. It's a human thing. We all do it. And I sat with that because one of the things that is what I call the kindness of the design of us, our innate intelligence, our wholeness, our beingness, is that but for our thinking, we are peaceful. But for our thinking, we have joy. We are joy. Because think about it. When you're not thinking about your problems, when you're just sitting, stroking the cat or rubbing the dog or going out for a walk or making love, you're not thinking about your problems. You're just connected to that feeling that's always there. And you feel joyful. You feel peaceful. You feel relaxed. That's our true nature, everyone. But we think ourselves out of our true nature. We think ourselves out of relaxation. We think ourselves out of joy. That's why when we're relaxed, we feel peaceful. And when we're stressed, when we have stressful thinking, when our thinking has gone crazy, or going faster than life, we feel, oh, my life is terrible. No, not true. Nothing has changed except your thinking about your life. Very powerful. So now when you slow down, when you start to slow down, the kindness of the design presents itself. Your innate wisdom presents itself. Now that's powerful. That's really powerful to know that I knew in that circumstance that if I just waited for a day or two, my system would automatically settle down. My thinking would settle down, which is exactly what happened. And it took 2 days, and I was like, in those 2 days, I wasn't feeling good. I was like, oh my God, that person hates me, and I did a terrible job communicating, and they'll never speak to me again. And once it settled down, my thinking settled down, I was able to see the situation clearly. And I said, you know what, I did communicate clearly, but I'm going to email that person and just check in. So, I wasn't sure if I clearly communicated with you, just checking in. Was there anything that we needed to, anything else that needed to be said or shared in that conversation that we missed? See, that's different than if I was to go to that person on the same day and say, oh, I'm just not sure, but I kind of felt like there was some awkwardness or weirdness, with the conversation. I'm not sure it was something you said or something I said. I don't really know. I mean, did you feel anything? Did you get anything? Could you tell me that I'm okay? And see, that's a different energy. That's the stressful, the anxious, the hurried thinking that I'm talking about. So when we get in a hurry, life gets sloppy. Our communication gets sloppy. Our emails get sloppy. Our business building practices get sloppy. When we're constantly in motion. I reckon that rocking chairs, right? I reckon that rocking chairs are for people who want to practice slowing down, but keep themselves moving. Because you can do that in a rocking chair. You can be like, yeah, I'm going to relax, sit back, but you can still be moving. Rocking chairs, you got to love them, right? It's like the bicycle in the room. You can be flying on the bicycle, but going nowhere. And being in a hurry is kind of like that. It's like we're on the bicycle in the living room, but we never leave the living room. But we're pedaling like maniacs. It's a little bit like that. Because when our thinking speeds up, our bodies speed up. And we try to live life at the speed of our thinking instead of living life at the speed of life. Very powerful. Very, very powerful. All right, you want to hear a poem? Now, this poem's got nothing to do with slowing down or speeding up, but I really like it. All right. It's called The Seagull's Flight. Oh, the season has finally come to an end, and the pretty Irish bird must now descend. Another journey is close at hand, and whispers of summer calling from a faraway land. Fluttering his wings and leaving the earth, small body steeped in energy, new birth. Joining his flock deep into Stygian sky, turning his head and squawks, goodbye. Gliding through skies with effortless beauty, spotting his mate, ooh, his love, his cutie. A good day for travelling, he whispers to her, returning the smile, flying on above a sea of azure. Each bird taking its turn, flying up front, leading the masses below man's hunt. And suddenly bullets of rain hail up from the ground, stroking, streaking, and chaos develops all around. Changing direction and fleeing the death, red-covered feathers float and drop to the earth. Fly faster and faster, you shadows in the night. Scarper and hide from the bullets of red light. Noise now dwindled to a faded hush. Descended to a land, to a pond by a bush. Looking around to check on the damage, not understanding man's inflicted carnage. Ah, his lover is safe, at least for today. and they snuggle up tightly, dreaming of lands far, far away. All right, it's been a long time since I've read that poem. It's a good one. It's about love. All right, what are we talking about here? We're talking about slowing down to get more done. Okay. How do you do anything? Like I used to hear, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I totally get that. Like I used to do that as a way of living. You know, how I do one thing is how I do everything. And as I said earlier, it takes courage to slow down to the speed of life. But here's an interesting thing, everyone. I used to do, right? I used to be the do. And my life was do too, because I was doing so much do, like doing the do. And when I met my coach, Steve Chandler, he started talking about, Dermot, instead of trying to do the impossible, which is what I was running around thinking that would make me happy, is if I just did all these amazing things and made all this money and created all this business and did all these things. Oh, look. I just found my little funny box, my cow box. That's supposed to be a cow. And he said, you know, instead of... sorry, I get distracted easily. It's the noise. He said, Dermot, why do you start doing the doable instead of doing the impossible? Because apparently the doing the impossible is not working for you. It's like you're really trying hard to do the impossible, when I would suggest to you to start doing the doable. Start living life one day at a time, one thing at a time. Because here's what I found, everyone. Fatigue, it doesn't occur in life. It occurs not in the body, but in your mind first. Like, you have things to do all day. I totally get that. So do I. But the fatigue and the tiredness, and at the end of the day, you're like, oh, my God. Oh, you wouldn't believe the day I had. I'm so tired. Oh, my God. Let's get the special effects again, just for fun, because I like them. All right, thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. The fatigue occurs in your mind first, not in your body. Like fatigue happened when we were back, you know, running around after T-Rex and Tyrannosaurus and Brontosaurus, T-bone steaks and, you know, Burgerosauruses and Frysosauruses and all those kind of asauruses. We got tired because we did a lot of running. We don't do that today. We get on treadmills now and run for an hour. We don't have to run around, so our bodies do not get tired. Fatigue, for most of us, happens in the mind, because we're running around and we're thinking about the next thing and thinking about the next thing and thinking about the next thing. And not only that, we're thinking about the next 20 things. Like when I was running around in my life, I would think about, okay, I got 50 things to do today. And while I was doing one thing, I was already thinking about the next thing, or the next 2 or 3 things. Now, that will wear you out quicker than... I'm trying to think of something that would wear me out quicker. Talking about my emotions, that wears me out pretty quickly. But that's just for the guys. I don't know what it is for the ladies, because my lady can speak about emotions all day long. So maybe it's getting logic. I don't know. All right. So fatigue happens in the mind, not in the body. Now here's an experiment. And now I do this with all my clients. My clients say, Dermot, I need more energy. I need more energy to get more done. And I say, no, you need to slow down to get more done. So take one project. Maybe it's a 10-minute project, or maybe it's an email, or maybe it's a phone call, or maybe it's a 20-minute thing that you got to do. Maybe it's working out for 20 minutes, whatever it is. Take that one thing and decide, hey, I'm going to turn off the phone, the pager, the iPhone, the iToaster, the iNappy, the iPad, the iPod, the iWatch, the iAlarm, the I, all the I's. And I'm just going to do this one thing. And it's going to take me 10 minutes, and I'm not going to work hard to do it and be present, because that's doing something. I'm just going to allow myself, invite myself to just do this one thing. And when it's done, I'll go to the next thing. And if you could practice that once a day, doing one thing calmly, actively, and actively calm, if you could do that one thing and just do it, like my mom used to say, Dermot, it's the little things that mean so much. And it really is. It's the little things done well, as Mother Teresa used to say. Because I used to think doing a million things would create a great life. And it's totally the opposite. It's not doing the impossible that gets a great life. Although there's nothing wrong with that. I'm actually in a course right now called Creating the Impossible. But it's all about just doing the doable. It's just about doing the next thing. It's not about trying to change the world single-handedly overnight with a kitchen with a butter knife. But it's really about just doing the doable. So the next time you're doing a project or you're working on something, an email, even just an email, say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to be with the email. And again, it's not to work hard with it. Just say, I'm just going to be with the email. All right. So let's bring this whole talk to a close. Let's just kind of wrap up everything we've talked about. So the ultimate time management system, everyone, is to have only one thing to do. To do that one thing and then to do the next thing. The ultimate time management system is doing one thing and then doing the next thing. It's slowing down to the speed of life. When do we get our best ideas? When we're relaxed. There's no question about it. When we're calmly active and we're actively calm, that's when we get our best ideas. Now, learning to say no to what you don't want and saying yes to what you do want is also very, very helpful. I've learned in my life that seeking approval from everyone doesn't serve me. So where in your life is one place that you need to say no where you're saying yes? That will help you to slow down. I used to say yes to everybody, trying to please everyone, and running around the place trying to please everyone. What else did we talk about today? We talked about one day at a time, doing one thing at a time. We talked about, if you're really busy, then you got a lot to do. Right? You may say, I'm so busy, I got so much to do. That's a busy mind. Or you could say, I've got a lot to do, but I'm not busy. That means you're slowing down to the speed of life. That means that you're starting to live life on life's terms. You're doing one thing at a time. Because you can drive slow and enjoy the scenery, or you can drive fast and you can be part of the scenery. We talked about multitasking. Multitasking for a lot of us, and I was trained to multitask and do a lot of things. I have women that come to me and they're constantly multitasking and they're so stressed out and so anxious. They got so much going on that they just can't get stuff done. So multitasking is the death nail to creativity. Multitasking is like screwing up several things at once. Multitasking is like I can listen, ignore, do a bad job, and forget all at the same time. Right? Or my favorite multitasking is running around looking busy. And I've done that. Writing a book, building a business, learn to play the guitar, write songs, creating a band, a website, videos, YouTube, radio show. Now, I still do all of those things, but I do them one thing at a time. So in closing, if you want to get more done, slow down. If you want your income to go up in your business, slow down. If you want to connect to your creativity and solve any problem that you have going on in life, slow down and just allow your mind to ponder the solution. If you want your revenue to go up, then slow down so that inner innate wisdom can give you some new ideas. If you want to have a better life, slow down. And you don't have to do it all at once. Take one little thing that you're doing every day and say, okay, can I give myself to this? Am I willing? That's the word. Am I willing to give myself for the next 5 minutes just to be with this one thing, and then I'll go back to thinking and obsessing and doing 20 things. But for this one email or this one phone call, maybe you got to call someone, and I'm going to spend 10 minutes and I'll be totally present with this person. I used to make phone calls, and it was just to get the phone call out of the way so I could get to the next phone call. And I'd lived my life that way for many years with my family. Just, okay, let me get through this. Instead of just getting into it and enjoying the phone call. Now when I call my family, I sit and I get a cup of tea and I enjoy talking to them. And when it's done, it's done. I put a time limit on it sometimes if I've got stuff to do. And when it's done, I say, all right, we got to go. And it was wonderful talking to you. And then I move to the next thing. But if you're trying to give your attention to 20,000 browsers or 8 browsers that are open, then things are going to get sloppy. You're going to be living from quantity and not quality. And you know the interesting thing that I've found with all my clients that I work with? And if you want to know more about coaching with me, you can go to the CelticCoach.com and you can click there and connect with me, and I'm happy to. I'll give you an hour of my time, no charge and no selling, no secret selling. And if you got something you're struggling with, reach out to me. We'll see if we can help. So for anything that you want in life, everyone, if you really want to enjoy your life, if you want to have quality and not quantity, you've got to be willing to slow down a little bit. Because in the here and now, there's no heaviness. There's no stress. There's just, I'm doing this, and then I'm going to be doing that. And that's how life gets created. That's how projects get completed. That's how books get done. And these things I've learned over the past couple of years with my coach. So, it takes time. So be gentle, be nice, be willing, and be okay with not slowing down. Be okay with, hey, I'm speeding up right now, but I'm willing to slow down. Because that's all you need, really, All right, everyone. This is the Celtic Coach. Think big, have fun, stay curious. Until the next time, that, my dear friends, is no blarney. Cheers, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.